Hello, hello. Hi, everybody. Welcome in. Welcome in. It's been a very busy day here. Let me just move some things out of the way. Hi, everybody. Happy Saturday night date night. How are all of you? Hopefully, did I process everything correctly? I think I did. I think we're good. I'm just going to give it a moment. I am chasing my tail here today, doing all the things. Hello, Colette, Erica, Rachel, Diane, Miss Reptile. Hello. Welcome in. I'm so happy to see all of you guys. Thank you so much for coming today. Who else do we have? We have Allison and Robin. Hello, Ruth. Welcome in. Hello, hello. Hi, Leola. Welcome in. I see a lot of new names. Hello. Welcome in. Hi, Peggy B. Welcome in. Hi, Fran. Happy Saturday night date night. So if this is the first time that you're seeing this, Saturday night date night is kind of one of those live streams where I hang out with you guys and whatever we talk about is what we talk about. I just, hang out with you guys and hopefully this is of interest to you. Hi, Divicino. Welcome in. Happy to see you in. Hello, hello. Hi, Laura. Welcome in. Hello to the mods. And Trish. Hi, Trish. Welcome in. Hi, Sue-Ann. Welcome in. Hi, Jess. Hello, Witch. Welcome in. Erica. Mary Ryan. Hi. How are you? So I brought my coffee. I brought my snacks. That's kind of what I do on Saturday night date nights. We have Bobo's strawberry stuffed oat bites. Finally, I can showcase these and the words not be backwards, which is really nice. So yeah, there's that. And then I have this. Nature's Bakery Fig Bar, Raspberry. When I buy my snacks, I don't know about you guys, but I look for this. I look for that little picture there. It's non-GMO verified. I have it on this snack too. It's just a little thing that I look for. I don't know. I don't know how popular it is, but GMO stands for genetically modified something or another. I try to look for that when I buy snacks. So yeah, there's that. So glad to see all of you guys. How has your Saturday been so far? How have all of you been? I hope you guys are all doing really well. Hi, Jaxie. Welcome in. Thank you for popping in here. I appreciate you as always. So I woke up this morning, okay, and my face felt like it was on fire, and I couldn't figure out why. So I went to the restroom, and I looked in the mirror, and I noticed that my chin was really hurting, and couldn't figure out what it was. Anyway, I don't know if you noticed, but this part of my chin is swollen. Do you see it? Right here. It's swollen. I have makeup covering it. You can't tell, but it's really, really red. It's swollen. So, yeah, this whole part of my chin is swollen. And it's all under here. It's all swollen under there. So, hot compress and all the things. And I said, well, I don't know if I should go live tonight. I mean, my face is red. It's all red under there. I don't know what happened. So what I think it was a spider bite. I think that I was bitten by a spider. That's happened to me before here. This house, when I first purchased it, had lots of spiders. And so I had to have someone come in and do all the things. And so I'm thinking it was a spider bite. I don't know. But yeah, it's still swollen all here and underneath. And it really, really hurts. Call the dentist. No, nothing wrong with the teeth. It's literally right here. And it feels like a pimple that I can pop. I don't know. Anyway, I don't want to make a big thing of it, but I'm mentioning it because you're kind of looking at my face and you may say, well, your chin is weird, Juan. What is happening? So I figured, let me just go ahead and explain that. So anyway, how are you guys? You guys good? Uh, Thank you all so much for your suggestions, Benadryl and all the things. Ingrown hair. I've had those too. They're not fun to deal with. Anyway, look at this, guys. Isn't that so good? Maybe not this side. I'm not a fan of this side, but I like this side. Mm-hmm. I love all the gooey stuff inside. So good. Mm-mm. Hello, Quilty. Welcome in. Hi, Doxy. Hi, Dawn. So I spent the vast majority of my day doing a tutorial for the second time around. Believe it or not, I had to redo the entire thing because I don't think I've ever done this. I recorded the tutorial, right? And I go back to review my work and I'm playing it back and I'm not hearing anything. And I'm like, what is going on? I know, like, to some degree, I'm challenged with technology, right? But I'm playing it back and I'm looking at it and I'm like, did I forget to turn on the volume while I recorded this entire tutorial? Yes, I crocheted an entire project. I paused, I played, I did a whole bunch of different clips and all the things, and not once did I bother to check the volume. The volume was turned all the way down, like just before the mute button. Yeah, it was one of those days. And I said, you know what? All you can do is laugh, you know? And so I got up, I made a pot of coffee, I went outside for some air. I needed to breathe. I'm like, ugh. Anyway, so what did I do? I deleted all the things and then I re-recorded the entire tutorial. Yes, I did. I recorded that tutorial that you see on the channel tonight that I uploaded about 5 o'clock, about an hour ago. Was it about an hour ago? About 2 hours ago. Yeah, I did it twice. Yeah, so I have one in gray and I have one in green. So yeah, I have two of those beanies, and you guys know I'm not a beanie person. For some reason, you know, beanies on this huge head of mine, it makes me feel like I'm wearing a swimming cap, and I really like making beanies. They're a lot of fun, but I've become very conscious about the way I look in them, and so yeah, when I make them, they're literally for donations. My noggin's not fit for a beanie. I have to do the actual hat. So here it is. Isn't this nice? It's a beautiful, beautiful situation there. Wonderful stitches. We've got the 3-point marguerite stitch. We've got the 5-point marguerite stitch. It's got a whole bunch of stars. And the best thing about this is the crown. I'm so proud of this crown. Look at this. Isn't that beautiful? Such a gorgeous crown. It kind of looks like a starburst to me. It could be like a flower. It could be like a maybe not a sunflower, but it could be like flowers. It could be a starburst. I just thought it was so fitting with like the star stitches with the crown just coming together like that. Anyway, I did try this on, and I'm telling you, it felt like a swimming cap. Look. I feel like I'm about to dive off the diving board. I feel like I'm overdressed. I feel like I need to be at the swimming pool, and I'm getting ready to just do a swan dive right into the into the pool. Oh. Anyway, so That's how I feel when I wear beanies as of late. Back in the day, it didn't even bother me. I feel like when I had longer hair, I didn't care about the shape of my head. I just didn't care. And then ever since I cut my hair off, I've become more and more conscious about it. So much so that now I only prefer to wear these. This just fits me better. It fits my personality better. I kind of like this a lot. I don't feel like I'm getting ready to do a swan dive off the 30-meter board. Anyway, I like this. Anyway, this is my crow knit hat. Many of you guys know this. This is half crochet, half knit. And yeah, big stitches, big needles, all the things. Love it. Venus, thank you so much for gifting a membership. And congrats to Shirley for getting that gifted membership. What a difference. The color helps too, right? Sue of the many Sues. Hello to you, dear. Welcome in. So happy to see you here. I understand, but you used to wear beanies all the time. Yes, I used to wear them all the time. And like I said, I become more conscious about the shape of my head. I still make them. I still love making them. It's just that 99.9% of the beanies I make now are for donation. The other smidge is literally for Matt. So Matt is overdue for a beanie change. But the Sunday Post beanie looks so good on his head. It's going to be really hard to top that one. I mean, that's just a beautiful design. So until I can find something to top that one, Matt's going to have to stay with the Sunday Post. I grew up when we called them toboggans with the pom-pom on top. Back in the 70s, had to have your NFL team. You know what's funny is I remember the word toboggans and that being like a regular part of conversation too. And that was the 80s. Hi, Jess. Thank you so much for the super chat because you're pretty. I'm not feeling so pretty today. I have this huge growth here on my chin. If I hit the right angle, you can see it. I feel like I just want to squeeze, but I'll wait until after. Hi, Denisha. Welcome in. Hi, Diane. Hi, how are you? So glad to see you here today. Anyway, we're going to take this off. So I have to tell you a little secret. So the tutorial that has been released today is a modification from the original design. So the original design was this, and this was the one that I kept showcasing over and over and over again. So I decided to edit this back because I wanted to make sure that when I did the tutorial and that I spoke about how to make a hat from a beanie, I wanted to make sure that the measurements fell into place. So what I did was I took the white strip stitches out. Everything in white I removed. And then I kept everything else, and the measurements fell right into place. So for those of you guys who don't know, I'm sure a lot of you guys do, but if you don't know this, the beanie, when you make measurements and things, you sit it on your crown, and depending on the way you want yours to fit, you can go all the way down to your nose. If you're wanting like a brim hat, you go down to your chin. And so for me, the measurement is 9 inches from the crown to my nose. So when I do my tutorials, I go 8.5 inches because my head, I don't want to say it's bigger than most, but I have a decent sized dome. So when I did the editing on this particular project here, it wasn't making the correct measurements for me. So I went ahead and removed them, and then all of a sudden everything made sense. So yeah, just something to think about when you go to watch that tutorial, if you decide to watch that tutorial. So yes, and I want to give a special shout out to Kim, who helped come up with the name. Actually, she actually came up with the name for the beanie. So thank you, Kim, for helping me with that. As you guys know, I'm very horrible with naming things. It's just a huge fault of mine. And I think a lot of the time, if I think of a name of a project, I don't even have the project made up yet. Or if, well, there's times where I create things not thinking about a name. And then I take 40 days and 40 nights trying to figure out what to call it, which is most of the time. But I have had projects where it's completed, it's done, but I didn't know what to call it, you know? So, yeah. And hopefully I can move the needle on that. I can just figure out a way to get better at naming things, kind of like the way I did the Fifi blanket. I just sat there and said, like I said in the video, my thought process, I just put pen to paper and just wrote things down. And I'm like, how can I make this make sense for me? So already watched it. Gonna make a hat. So nice, Anna. Thank you so much, guys. Approximately how many yards are needed? So you need about 200 yards, more than 200 if you're making a hat. Again, it's a 6-round repeat. So if you repeat it 4 times, it's the perfect length for a hat. If you repeat it twice, it's the perfect length for a beanie. Of course, you've got those finishing rounds after your repeats, but yeah, it's 21 rounds from crown to tip with all the rounds for a beanie. And then obviously it's more than that if you're making a hat. Sue of the Many Sues says, I made your star blanket into a baby blanket and call it A Star Is Born. I love that, Sue. That's very creative. I love that. Thank you for sharing that. Let's see. Kim says, you're not horrible. You just overthink. And I love that for us. I do overthink too much. I'm constantly reminded from my sisters, from family over here, from Kim. I overthink a lot. But it's to a fault. You know what I mean? So, would love to see a picture. I'm sorry. So this has been plugged in here since Tuesday. I haven't touched this since. Has anybody posted in the community tab any pictures of their makes? I'm very curious to know. I'm about to go. Actually, am I able to see in here? No, I cannot. I forgot about that. I can't show it on there. It doesn't show me the community tab for some reason. Does anybody know why that is? On the iPad, it doesn't allow you to see the okay, so Fantabulastic, which by the way is a really awesome name. Try to say that 3 times. I love this yarn. Very, very nice. Beautiful stitch work there. Beautiful stitch definition. I know you guys can see this, but I like showing you guys that I'm looking at it, Amanda Smith, my mystery taco and stash buster was this beanie I made using the backgammon jade. That's such an old video. Thank you for still watching it. Look at this. I remember doing this tutorial. It was eons ago. I didn't think anybody watched that anymore. That's so awesome. Oh, that, and look, Sherry Astrahan's work there. Beautiful. Oh, wrong way. Beautiful, beautiful work, Sherry. Love that. I got to hit the heart there. Ooh, and look at Trisha's squares. Oh, my. Look at all the colors. Trish. Awesome job, Trish. I love playing with colors like that, too. I get so excited when I see that. Great job. I love it. So good. That's all I see for right now. But feel free to post. I love seeing all the things. And obviously you see that I like sharing it. It's great talking points. Love showing you guys all the things. So yeah, one question for you. When doing a double crochet blanket, can you chain 2 instead of 3 at the end of each row? So here's the thing about that. And that question has been asked by so many people. There's a general rule of thumb that you should always know. If you're chaining to the height of the stitch, you should always include it as a stitch. So the height of a double crochet is 3 chains. So when you chain 3 and turn your work, that chain 3 should count as a stitch. So you won't go into the first stitch. You skip the first one. You go into the second one. Because if you go into the first one, you just increased your row by a stitch. And that's how work goes out like this. You want to keep it nice and straight, you have to skip that first stitch. But if you chain 2, then you do not count it as a stitch. You can still chain 2, but when you go to turn your work, you need to make sure that you're going into the first stitch. Don't skip the first one because your chain height is not tall enough to be in line with the rest of those stitches in the row. If you counted a chain 2 as a stitch, it's going to throw the shape of your work off. So make sure that, again, if you're keeping it to the height of the stitch, count it as a stitch. But if it's not the height of a stitch, then skip it. Like, make sure that you're going into the stitch right there. Okay. Let's see. So hopefully I answered your question. Good morning, Lisa. Welcome in. It's so dark outside here. Sometimes it's strange to kind of like snap in and remember that there's people in other time zones watching. I love it. Hi, April from the bushes. And hello to all the people who are watching on replay. I always have to make mention of that because we have a lot of replay warriors who watch us after the fact. So thank you all so much for watching this whole hangout sesh. I love it. And for those of you guys who aren't aware of this, so Let's Chat Stitches is coming this Tuesday. And that's where we talk about all things like this. So if you have basic questions like this in crochet, feel free to pop into that live stream and ask away. All these questions definitely help out other people who show up for that session there. And it's just a casual, laid back environment, but it's a great opportunity to just learn some basics, you know? So good pointers and all the things. You love Let's Chat Stitches? I do too. I really do like it. I think the best thing that I like about Let's Chat Stitches is the whole fact that, like, even me having crocheted for 31 years and I'm still going, I'm still finding things that are new to me. There's just different techniques, there's different yarns, there's different hooks, there's always something new to talk about. And I think that bringing that to Let's Chat Stitches is just amazing because the feedback that we get from the viewership is like awesome. Every single Let's Chat Stitches we've had so far, I've received emails and all the things, all positive things. Everyone was like, this is so good, Juan. You know, thanks for the pointers. It was a great conversation. Love the cards, love the questions, the back and forth. It's just such a positive experience. So yes, we are definitely going to continue doing that. What do you think about the Red Heart Bitty Stripes yarn? Believe it or not, I like it. I know there's a vast majority of people out there that question like what to use the yarn with or what kind of projects to work it up into. I treat that yarn like all other yarn. All yarn is good yarn, you know? And so I actually like it. I think the quality of the yarn is the same as all of the other Red Heart yarns. I think the stiffening agents that are in the yarns obviously go away as soon as you wash it. So I don't let that bother me. But yeah. I thought chaining 2 for double crochet and not 3 keeps your edge straighter. If you're counting it as a stitch, you have to ask yourself, if you're counting it as a stitch, I mean, you need to make sure that your chain is the same height as your stitches, you know? As a matter of fact, I do have some visuals I'll make copies from in textbooks to show you. It actually tells you like how many chains equals the height of what stitches. So when you're going into rows, a single crochet is 1 chain, half double is 2, double is 3, treble is 4. So like, yeah, that's why that's in place. Now I know some people, they kind of take they take 1 chain out, but the people that I know who do that because they work with really loose tension. So if you're a very loose crocheter and you're chaining up and you're turning your work and you're noticing there's a ripple or like a ruffle in your work on the ends, it's just because of loose tension. So people take one of those chains out to pull your ends in tighter. But if you have consistent tension, then you should be chaining to the height of your stitch. I think it gets confusing as other tutorials chain 2 for double crochet. Yeah, and to be perfectly honest with you, I think that it's I don't want to say different strokes for different folks. The material that I present, I pull from printed material. So it's not like I'm making it up. A lot of creators make up things because it's what works best for them. But yeah, what I present, I have actual printed material to share with you to prove that like that's how I do it. Um, but that's kind of the chance you take when you watch video tutorials. You know, you're taking their word for it and you're crocheting it. You're following a tutorial based off of their instruction. And some instructors go with what works best for them, you know? So just take that as part of the whole process. So when you watch a tutorialist give a tutorial, you know, just keep that all in mind. Let's see. Chaining 2 keeps my edges straighter, if that makes sense. Yes. Well, it would make sense if you have loose tension. Yep. I forgot we are doing a cow this year. Yes. So spring and fall. Someone asked me if we were doing a winter cow. Um, we were going to, but then ultimately we decided that we were going to go ahead and do 2 a year instead of 4, and we're going to do 1 in the spring and we're going to do 1 in the fall. I'm doing really well, Sandy. How are you? That's what's confusing because some people do say I'm doing it like this. It doesn't matter what the instruction says, which confuses me. You know what? Do what's best for you. You know, you, and it's inevitable. Every person who watches a video tutorial has to understand that, you know, what you're being shown is just a guide. At the end of the day, you're the one with the yarn and the hook in your hand. So if what you're watching isn't to your liking, then you adjust it according to how you like it for yourself. But you also have to understand that not all tutorialists pull their information from black and white books. Some tutorialists just go from their own personal experience and do what works best for them. So you always have to understand that unless the person is holding the book in front of your face while doing it, there's always that chance that you may have to make a modification that works best for you and the way you crochet, because we all crochet different. That's a very important thing to take into consideration. Let's see. Let's see. Hi, what is a stabilizing row for? I am making a granny square in the round blanket and it started to. So a stabilizing round or row is a row of basic stitches that kind of hold your work together. So for instance, if you have a row of double crochet, chain 2, double crochet, and you're noticing your work like not laying flat for whatever reason, sometimes people put stabilizing stitches on their work to hold everything down to keep it nice and flat, or keep it to its intended shape. So Maybe sometimes projects are meant to be ruffly or whatever the case may be, like, a ruffle hat. Sometimes people put stabilizing stitches there to make sure that the shape that you're trying to create stays there, you know? So if it's too short, add a stitch. If it's too tall, take a stitch out. Exactly. Do what works for you. Let's see. When I chain 3 for double crochet, it looks like Superman's cape before I'm done. Oh, that's too funny. I love it. Mm. I got a really gooey piece of the Scooby snack. It's almost like peanut butter. Trying to separate. Oh my goodness. That was amazing. Working up timeless reflections in fairyland yarn. That's beautiful. Love the transitions. The yarn itself reminds me of Karen Blossom cakes. Yes. I got some index cards and some binder rings, punched holes in the corner, and went back to the first chatting stitches so I could draw the symbols and write the names. This way I can flip through. That's so good. How on earth can I keep my corners from curling on my projects? It depends on the project, right? There's tons of corners being done in many different ways, but I would pay attention to tension. Make sure that your tension's not too tight. So not too loose, not too tight. And it does take a lot of practice to maintain consistent tension. And, sometimes you could be going on and on and on with one tension. And then all of a sudden you're excited because the project's done. Let me hurry up and get done. And we're excited about it. And we're noticing that we're going a little tighter than normal. And then before we know it, some of our work is curling. Or I've seen it where people have said, "Oh, I'm playing yarn chicken. I don't know if I'm going to have enough yarn. So let me pull a little tighter than I normally would just to make sure that I can make it to the end of the row." And then as soon as you do that, you look back and you're like, it's curling over there. There's many different reasons. There's no one reason why your work curls. You just have to look at your actual work and ask yourself, is my tension even? Do I have too many stitches in other rows and not enough stitches in the row that I'm working on that's curling? Just ask yourself all these questions. There's no one true answer. Let's see. Britt started a cocoon cardigan. Can't believe I've been sleeping on the latte cakes all this time, right? It is very soft. It is. And what's funny is it's a hairy yarn, but it feels amazing. And I don't mind working with it. It's so weird. It's so insane. Let's see. How much sugar does those bars have? Let's see. 10%. It has 10% sugar. What is the alternate name of the star stitch you use? The Marguerite stitch. So the Marguerite stitch has two different stitches. It's a 3-point Marguerite and a 5-point Marguerite stitch. And I've showcased both of them in this project. So super, super nice. My blanket I'm making now has curled corners. I don't want to frog and undo all the tails I had to weave in, is why I asked. I know. So just keep, is it for the house? If it's for the house, just put a border on it. It'll flatten right out. So I see empty spaces behind you shows you're working hard. Yes. I actually filled some of these up, believe it or not. It was more empty than this. Yeah. You can't. Oh, yes, you can see it. Yeah. I have to get some more. I'm trying to hold off. I want to wait until I have more empty spaces, and then I'll just do a haul. I'll go to Michael's and I'll buy the colors that I need to fill the cubes. But the fact that it's empty here means I don't have these colors on the other side of the wall. So more yarn is needed. I need black for sure. I need some periwinkle, which is right there. I need periwinkle there. I need some more ombre right here. And you can't see it, but above the orange, I'm running low on red. Yeah, I'm running low on red. And over here, there's another color above here that I'm running out of. So you would be a good teacher because you have just the nicest of ways to tell somebody how things go. Well, I try. I mean, and I don't know if you guys know this, but well, the one part you guys do know is that I spent the last 20 years in pharmacy. But the part that you might not know is that I've been in pharmacy management for 20 years. And part of being in management period is being able to mentor and being able to lead and being able to communicate and all of those things. And while I'm not perfect at any of those things, I feel that since I've spent 20 years doing it, it kind of lends itself to how I'm able to do tutorials and how I'm able to walk all of us through these projects because I spent 20 years training and developing people and getting people promoted and all the things. So I think that's kind of how that turned out to be a thing. But yeah, so I do pride myself on being able to do that. I'm still not perfect at it, but I think I'm okay. I think I'm all right, Let's see. One, do you have a favorite weight of yarn overall? Is it a 4 weight? Believe it or not, Carrie, even with all of my 4 weight yarn, it's a toss up. Like it's a 50-50 split between 4 weight and 5 weight. If I had to pick one, it would be a 4 weight, but 5 weight comes very, 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 very close. Obviously, because Premier Puzzle is a 5 weight yarn. It's a thinner 5 weight yarn, which is why I'm kind of like in the air about it. But yeah, I love, love, love a good 5 weight yarn. Let's see. Hopefully I didn't miss any questions. I tend to ramble and just forget that there's a whole chat here, possibly with questions. Periwinkle is always my favorite Crayola crayon color. I love that. I'd love to see a video showing your favorite brands for each color. That's a good video idea. I need to write that down. Hold on. Favorite colors with brands. Okay. That's an easy video. I can do that until, you give me one skein, I can talk about it for a whole hour. I'm not going to do that, but I'll tell you what projects go well with it. What colors work well with that particular skein, what colors don't work with it, what yarns to stay away from with this particular skein. But we won't go there. I'll pick my favorite colors with with the brands, like which Red Heart yarn is my favorite color, which Karen 1 pound has my favorite color, and all the things. A color hues coordinations video. Yes. I love all the patterns you have done. I have been adding them to a book I am making with them. I'm going to have to start a part 2 soon. Keep the patterns coming. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I knew about you having a binder with all of my patterns in it. I remember seeing it about a year ago. I wondered how that was progressing. I am left-handed and I just can't seem to get my gauge right. Any tips? Practice. I'm a left-handed crocheter too, and I will tell you, as a left-handed crocheter, the whole process is a little more challenging for us because the vast majority of crocheters are right-handed. So most of us who are left-handed crocheters had to learn from people who crocheted opposite us. And one of the challenges that I've faced as a left-handed crocheter, learning from right-handed crocheters, is how to properly hold the yarn. What tension is good tension for a left-handed crocheter? Like, these are things that came with time, and it came with lots and lots of practice. And the saying "practice makes permanent." It's a thing. Practice makes permanent, not perfect, but permanent. It's almost up to an inch thick. I wasn't sure you remembered that. Oh yeah, yep, I remember. Let's see. Yeah, that would be awesome because I'm trying to build out a color palette like you have behind you. So when I'm looking for a good orange, I'll have it when it's ready. Funny story, really quick. Someone emailed me saying, I wanted to start my own little yarn wall. What colors should I have in my cubbies? And I'd never been asked that before. And I thought it was such a great question because I look at everyone's yarn walls. I've seen many yarn walls in Zoom and in other places. And every person I see has different colors, but no one thought to ask the person that has multiple yarn walls. I have multiple yarn walls, right? So they asked me, and I said, well, if I were starting a yarn wall, depending on the yarn, so it lends itself to Carrie's question, like, what colors would I pick with what yarn? Because I will tell you, there is a logic behind it. So if my yarn wall was completely big twist, you probably would see different colors behind me. What you're seeing the most of right now is Loops and Threads Soft Classic tied in with Red Heart Super Saver. So yeah, very, very good topic to talk about. Let's see. Dawn is asking, could you maybe do a scarf back and forth tutorial with the star stitch to match your beanie hat? That's a lot of star stitches, Dawn. That's a lot of star stitches. I mean, to do a scarf long ways, you're chaining with a J hook. You're chaining 220 stitches. 220 stitches. Or more if you need your scarf longer. That's why the vast majority of scarf tutorials that you see on YouTube, not all of them, but most of them, are like that wide and they go like this because recording is just a lot easier. But yeah, you're chaining lots of chains. Is it doable? Yes. Am I going to do it? Probably not. But if I do it, I'm going to do like a little sample swatch and say, hey, listen, here's the stitch multiple. If you want to go that way until the cows come home, here's the multiple. You can go from California to New Jersey with your scarf, but here's the multiple. Did you like that? California to New Jersey. What is your favorite brand of crochet hook? You know what's funny is my favorite hook has changed at least 3 times since I started my channel. Like, yeah, I remember doing videos and constantly talking about hooks and doing hook reviews and all the things. I remember sitting here and telling you guys that Prim hook, all the things, right? Like, I love all things Prim. I still do. However, in my time making all of these videos and reviewing all of these hooks, and since a huge part of what I present and what I talk about is vintage, I have to tell you that Prim is no longer my #1 favorite hook. So I have reverted back to one of my OG hooks before Prim was even a thing. I mean, I've been crocheting since I was a teenager. And here it is. Yep, there it is. So this is now at the top of the list. The old-fashioned Susan Bates hooks. I don't care for the new ones. It has to be the old ones because here is one of the new ones. This is one of the new Susan Bates hooks. Underneath here, there is no bevel. It literally looks like this. Let me show you. By the way, when I design my projects and things, Look at all those stitch counts. It's crazy. So this here is the Susan Bates hook. This is what underneath the Susan Bates, the new ones, this is what it looks like under here. It's flat as I don't know what. There's no bevel to it. It's flat. Go to Michael's right now. Go look at their Susan Bates hooks. I'll bet you anything. When you look under them things, it's like this. Flat. When you look under the old ones, do you see underneath there? Let me move my fingers out of the way. If you look under there, it's beveled. You're not able to see it. Let me see. No? No. You catch the drift. So, old Susan Bates. There are some honorable mention hooks. I don't think Prim will ever come off of my top 3. I will always have Prim as one of my top 3 because the ergonomic factor, the size of the hook matters. Also, I don't lose my yarn. That bevel means everything to a left-handed crocheter. I can't really speak on the right-handed crocheters, but as a lefty, I need something to hold my yarn in place because I'm a left-handed crocheter. And so when I look at hooks, I need to see that bevel there. It's a place where it holds my yarn. And if you don't know what I mean when I say bevel, let me show you. So do you see that little mark right there? That's called a bevel. You can kind of see it right there. Do you see that? So that's what holds the yarn in place. Without that, as a left-handed crocheter, I mean, I might as well be knitting. Which I don't mind doing either. I'm a right-handed knitter. Vintage old boy hooks are different from the new ones. Yes, I do like the old vintage boy hooks. I like the gem hooks, the hero hooks. They're all great. These new hooks, no. If a new crocheter came to me and said, hey, Juan, I'd like to get my hands on a new hook to see if I like crocheting, I would only suggest Susan Bates or Boy if they're only going to get one hook. To just figure out if an inline hook or a tapered hook is their preference. Once you figure that out, then make the suggestion on the correct hook. So if you like a tapered hook, I mean, listen, just my very humble opinion, these new boy hooks are not something that I would recommend to a new crocheter. I just wouldn't. So what I would probably do is say the Clover or More hooks. I would go on Amazon and order the Clover or More hooks because they're less expensive on Amazon than they are at Michael's. So get yourself a set of those if you like the tapered hooks. If you like inline hooks, I would say get yourself a vintage Susan Bates or work with a hybrid hook. You know, go with a Prim because it's inline, but it's also tapered. It's kind of a little bit of both. It doesn't, I guess it does have a taper, doesn't it? I guess it does. So maybe this is not the correct suggestion. Yeah, I'd be like, if you like inline hooks, I would go with a vintage Susan Bates. That's just my suggestion. Snowy Cat says, I'm right-handed and I need the beveled hooks. Also, I've ditched all my ones without the bevel. The yarn just doesn't catch without. Yes, it's kind of needed. It's necessary. And you know which hook had the worst? I mean, and I hate saying this, but I spoke about this already. Do you guys remember when Big Twist came out with those ergonomic hooks? They charged $10 for a hook, and they only had so many sizes, right? But when you looked under that hook, you saw it hanging off the peg. The bottom part of that hook was like this. There was just nothing there. It was flat like this. It was a number 7 underneath that hook. It didn't even come down. It literally was like this. And I'm like, what exactly are we crocheting with a hook that looks like that? A number 7 underneath the hook. And you want to charge $10 for that? No. Why would they want to charge? No, listen. I looked at the lady and I said, you're charging $10 for this hook? What am I crocheting with that? And she says, well, it's just this new design that they came out with. I said, okay, have you tried crocheting with that? She's like, I don't crochet, I knit. I'm like, okay, well, let me tell you, as a crocheter, that's virtually impossible. She's like, well, you don't know unless you try it out. And I said, you know what? You're right. So just to prove a point upon principle, I went ahead and I bought 2 of them, 2 different sizes. I brought them home. I took yarn to a hook and I could not even get my chains done. I couldn't even chain with them. There was just no way that the yarn was staying on. There was no hook. It was a number 7. I'm holding the hook like this and I'm doing my chain. There's just nothing holding the hook. It didn't do that. It did this. It was doing that. What a waste. I returned them and got a full refund. And I told the lady, I said, listen, I bought these on principle to prove a point. I brought them home and nothing happened with them. I couldn't even make a chain. So I don't know what's going on with that, but I'm sorry. I need a refund. Sandy says, I don't mind working with dupes, hooks, or needles. They do their job just fine. Now, I will tell you, there is a dupe that Temu put out. Those metal hooks. Was it Temu? Temu or Amazon? One of them. They put out those metal hooks. I think it was Temu. I don't know. It was a set of metal hooks, and each hook was a different color. Who remembers those? Temu. And they were like 35 to 40 bucks. Listen. Okay, I did a whole video on it, and I called them. I said it. I said it to them. I said, this is a knockoff and all the things, but it was a good one. They did an excellent job with that dupe, and it was a fraction of the price. Nothing wrong with those hooks. Let's see. Juan, we both have that steel hooks from Temu. Love mine. Would you say it's tapered hooks? They hold the yarn better? Yes, they are. It is a tapered hook, and it does hold the yarn beautifully. I absolutely love those hooks. In fact, with those metal hooks from Temu, I'm knocking on wood. I prefer the smaller hooks, the thinner ones, as opposed to the thicker ones. For me, I find that crocheting with those hooks, with the DK weight yarn, just flows a lot nicer for me. I don't know why or how, but I really have a good time crocheting with DK weight yarn with those hooks. So yeah. Let's see. I can't do furls. I tried no dice. So I like, believe it or not, and I've had to try them all, right? Listen, there's a purpose for all hooks. Trust me. This is a very unpopular opinion, but when it comes to furls, the hooks I like the most from furls are, believe it or not, the wooden ones. They just hit different. Those wooden hooks that they sell work amazing with cotton yarn. And it could be any kind of cotton yarn. It could be Mainstays cotton. It could be Pima cotton. It could be Lion Brain cotton. I've worked with that hook, with those wooden hooks, with all kinds of cotton, and it just flows like butter. I don't know what it is, but like just the way the yarn works with those hooks, I love it. Um, which hooks did you say you liked with the DK? They were the dupes from Temu. Um, it was like an 8-pack set of hooks. Each hook was a different color, and I mean, it came with a full shebang. You had like a 3.5 all the way up to an 8. And I think it ran me at the time, I think it was like 35 or 38 bucks, and you got the entire set. Um, yeah, I do like their cotton. Well, I don't know about their cotton, but I do like Furls hooks, the wooden ones for cotton. Now, I do have their resin hooks. I have their metal hooks. Are they bad hooks? No, they're not bad at all, you know, but I believe different strokes for different folks. For me, I have other hooks that are more effective. You know, will I ever use those hooks? Absolutely. I will use them for certain projects and things, but like they're not my go-to hooks by any stretch of the imagination. You love the hooks from Timu, yeah. And they're not too heavy. They're not really like overbearing either. You can actually work your projects and not feel tired from like holding that the weight of that hook for a long time, which is really nice. Um, Violet says, I completely agree with you. The L-shaped hooks needed to be carved into actual rights. I felt like it was like lost in production. Like there was another piece of the assembly line that just vanished into thin air. Carpal tunnel friendly, yes. They're ergonomic, yes, and you don't really feel the unbalance. It's perfectly balanced in my opinion. Yeah. I have a metal hook set from Amazon like Timo and love them. Believe it or not, I correct me if I'm wrong, but they may actually very well be the same hook, I think. Or maybe cousins. I'm not sure. Dorian says, hi, Juan and everyone. Love the blanket tutorial you did the other day. Thank you so much. It's getting some views, guys. I'm very happy to report people are responding very well to the Fifi rectangle blanket. Very, very happy about that. So thank you so much if you've watched it. Thank you for supporting that tutorial. I thought to myself, you know, there's only so many people that are going to ask before they stop asking. And I said, you know what? Let me just do this because so many of you guys liked making the square one. Why not do the rectangle? So thank you guys. I appreciate that. I've started hyping the tutorials so maybe they get more views and then they stick around and watch everything else. I appreciate that, Amber. I really do. You know, I really enjoy doing the project tutorials, and I think looking back, how many of you guys remember last year, was it, or the year before? I can't remember. I put out like at least 3 beanies a week or 2 beanies a week. I can't remember, but I was always making different things like beanies, blankets, scarves, shawls, and all the things. I was just doing all of it. And I realized that I really I'm not putting out as much as I used to, like constantly. I was always just putting things out left and right and watching the tutorial videos just, you know, stack right next to each other. I'm like, maybe I need to start doing some more things. Like, I don't know. My favorite hooks are over 100 years old. I love that. So, so good. I'm making the Hearthstone hat in Yarnby and Nova Scotian Sky. That's a beautiful yarn, Nova Scotian Sky. It's got the blues and the greens. It's very, very nice. Wonderful quality of yarn, too. Yeah. I want to tell you that, do I have it in here? I always begin talking about things that I don't have nearby. Anyway, in a couple of weeks, you guys will see the Hearthstone project. I mean, I showcased it in the podcast, so it's not like it's foreign to you guys, but the members of the channel received a trifecta. They received a hat pattern, a beanie pattern, and a triangle scarf pattern. And They get exclusive access to it for 2 weeks before I do the tutorial and roll it out to the channel. And I have to tell you, I really enjoyed making that scarf. It was so much fun. I remember putting on a movie and just autopilot. I went autopilot with that thing. And I'm like, wow, I got all this done. Let's put on another movie and then another movie. It's so good. You bought the resin hooks on Amazon with the flowers on the handles. I love them. I never tried them. I have to try those to see. I need some of that Nova Scotian sky here in Nova Scotia. You know what's really funny, Jeanette? They would name a yarn after a place where the yarn isn't available. Like, what kind of sense does that make? You know? Ugh. They need to send all the Nova Scotians at least one skein of Nova Scotian sky on the house as a thank you for naming such a wonderful yarn with beautiful colorways. You love the pattern of the month. Thanks. I appreciate that. I'm glad you guys like that. And for those of you guys that don't know this, the pattern change was the pattern release was a last minute change. Originally, I was going to release a blanket, and I said, it's January, it's cold outside. We do blankets all the time, but it's only January one time a year. So I said, it's more fitting to wear, or actually to release a hat and scarf set. So that's what we did. I agree, Jeanette. Every Nova Scotian crocheter or knitter deserves to have one free skein of Nova Scotian sky. Let's see. Okay, so my mother-in-law found Boggy Creek blanket unboxing video. So instead of movies, we're working through all of those, and there's a whole bunch of those. So have fun with that. Let's see. You have a 14 karat gold plated hook, and I love it so much. I love that for you. That's so good. I love it. Are the Clover and More crochet hooks worth it? I hear many people talk about them. Yes, they are worth it. So I have yet to see a review of those hooks where it was, don't get these hooks. 99.9% of the reviews that are out there have positive things to say about those hooks. I think the only drawback to those hooks, if there was one, is that the length of the hook isn't conducive, or it doesn't work for those of us with big hands. I've even mentioned that myself. So when I crochet with a Clover or More, I find that the back half of the hook is inside my hand and not on the other side like this. That's my only drawback to the Clover More hooks, but the actual quality of the hook is second to none. You have brushed metal here. It works great with all kinds of fibers. It's got the bevel on every size of hook. The length of the neck is perfect. It's ergonomic without being overbearing. I mean, to me, I like this for myself, but for some people, this is too much. And then you have ones like this with a huge handle here. And for some, this is entirely too much. But with Clover More, it's a really nice thickness, I just wish it were longer. So, yes, I do like, as a matter of fact, fun fact, the Autumn Aspirations crochet along that I did here on the channel, which I believe was last year sometime, I crocheted that entire blanket with a Clover or More 6mm hook. The entire blanket was done. I love Clover More. Like I said, there's a purpose and a reason for all the hooks. So yeah, I love that. You're excited now. Thanks again for the advice. Absolutely. Again, if you're going to go for those hooks, the most cost-effective place to get them is Amazon, if you're able to. If you're going into Michael's to get them, I would wait for a sale and then perhaps stack that with a coupon to kind of like get the best bang for the buck, because I don't know about where you live, but here in Delaware, they're $100 for one pack. And I don't know about you, but $100 is a bit much for a pack of Clover and More hooks. I'm actually checking Amazon right now. Clover and More. Clover crochet hooks. There it is. So for one set, it's $50 right now. It's half the price. Again, I don't know how much they are where you're at, but here in Delaware, it's $100 for a pack of Clover and More hooks, and on Amazon, it's showing for $50.08. And you can see when I last purchased them. I bought a backup set last year. So, yeah. The list price is $73.50. That's the list price. So, yeah. Let's see. Can't see spending so much for a pack of hooks. I like my dupes from Temu, though. Yeah. I like all hooks. You know what? I have to take that last statement back. I don't like all hooks. I believe there's a hook for all yarns. Every hook has a purpose. But there are hooks out there that I feel should not be out there. They already took one of them off. So Big Twist, those ergonomic hooks that looked like a number 7, they got rid of those. So I'm glad about that. Also, Temu sells these boy hook knockoffs with ceramic handles. And I don't know if you've seen them, but these are the full spread of hooks. They run about $3 or $4, and you get like 6 or 7 hooks, and they're ceramic handles. Well, I will tell you that I had purchased them, and just about every hook had scratches all across the back, and the ceramic handles were cracked on some of them, and the quality was just not there. So what did I do? Instead of complaining about it and sending it back, I went ahead and ordered another set because it was only a few dollars, and I wanted to see if the same thing would happen a second time. And sure enough, the second pack that I received, same thing happened. Did I come on the channel and talk about it? No, because I just felt like, let me just exercise power of the purse. So if a company wants my money, they need to put out good quality items. And if they're not going to put out good quality items, I'm just not going to suggest or recommend these hooks to anyone. So I didn't speak about it. But yeah, I'm speaking on it now because I don't see them anymore. So maybe enough people complained about them and actually had, they came up with the idea, well, the quality's not there, no one's buying it, so let's just remove this. I don't know. Maybe it's just there under another listing. I'm not sure, but those hooks do not belong in the hands of any crocheter whatsoever. Nope. Let's see. Have you bought any gold from Ice Yarn? I didn't buy any gold, no. I have bought yarn from Ice Yarns, but not gold. I think maybe you meant to use another word. I'm not sure. I agree with the short hooks. They hurt my hand. Yes, I agree. Ceramic. Yeah. Ceramic with like all the painting on the handles. Really, I don't want to call it fancy. It just looks like they stamped a picture on it, Let's see. I was surprised to find after arm surgery, I have changed to a pencil grip. Really? That's great. I love that. Valerie says, all of my hooks are antique like me. You know what's funny, Valerie, is that I use the word vintage a lot, because I'm Gen X and I collect vintage things and vintage this, vintage that. I keep all kinds of vintage things nearby, right? All sorts of things. This was gifted to me by Ruth. Thank you, Ruth. I have it here on my desk. So I can relate. Vintage, just like me. I use that a lot. It's vintage, just like me. So Timu has a dupe set for Furl's Odyssey 2, and they are decent. Lighter weight and long enough to handle. Yes, we were speaking about that, Jessica. Yeah, I think they're really decent dupes. I think it's worth the money. Oh, okay. Have you bought any hooks from Ice Yarns? No, I have not. No. In hindsight, they did send me a pack of DPNs, knitting needles, but not hooks. I haven't purchased any hooks from them. Mm-mm. Nope. And keep your eyes peeled because I may be talking about that because I noticed that they have some new yarns over there that I'd like to talk about. So I'm going to see what that's all about. And if that becomes a thing, we may talk about it. Super, super nice. I smile when you say vintage like you want. It makes me ancient. Well, Julia, let me tell you something. So I was flipping through videos today, and there's this category called vintage. Videos that I used to watch all the time that I, to this very day, do not consider vintage are listed under vintage videos. And I'm like, are you kidding me right now? They're calling Titanic vintage. They're calling all of those millennial videos vintage. I'm not ready for that. Anything from like 97 to 2005, they're calling like vintage. And I'm not ready for this. I'm not happy about it. I'm sad about it. I mean, Field of Dreams, the video or the movie with Whitney Houston in it, where Kevin Costner was the bodyguard. All of those videos are now considered vintage. So I get it. I mean, vintage is as vintage does. And all of a sudden, what we thought was not vintage is now vintage. Even the songs, the music. I still listen to all that music as if it's not vintage, but it is. I'm like, this is not okay with me right now. And then the oldies, guys. The 80s music is now called the oldies. Can you guys help me make sense of this? Because growing up, for me, the 60s music and earlier was considered the oldies. And yeah, on the radio station, they literally said, okay, we're playing the oldies. And then they have like Madonna, like a prayer going on. I'm like, this is the oldies? Are you kidding me right now? This is not oldies. On the radio, they said, here's an oldie but a goodie. It was Tupac. Oh my goodness gracious. Wow. You know, at some point, we have to be okay with the fact that, like, we're aging. I don't know if I'm ready for that just yet, but one of these days, I'm going to have to actually cross that bridge and just be okay with it. I'm not okay with it yet. Maybe in a few years, you know? Ghost, yes, Ghost. And the Sister Act movies, Sister Act 1, Sister Act 2, Back in the Habit, all of those videos, the Ghostbuster video, all of that, all vintage now. I'm not okay with this. Someone help me make sense of this. It's not okay. E.T. is like vintage, or no, it's like a relic. It's antique, I feel like. But yeah, you're right. E.T., all of that. It's just really, really hard to swallow that time is flying by so fast. Anyway, now you know how I felt when they started calling 70s music oldies, right? Like, when did that even happen? Because I don't remember when 70s music was like, for me, it felt like it went from the 60s as oldies to the 80s. Like, there wasn't enough time between those two goalposts to kind of revel in the fact that 70s music was considered oldies. I don't know. And then with country music, I don't know how many of you guys listen to country music, but you know, I was raised by someone who lived in Kentucky and in Texas. And so we listened to country music all the time, us kids. And I remember the older country artists like Johnny Cash and all of those folks, Loretta Lynn. And all of a sudden, like, you don't hear those folks anymore. You hear Reba McEntire, and she's considered like an oldie. And I'm like, what? This is just not, no, no. Even, I mean, some of the artists that came after the Rebas and all the things are now starting to be considered like oldies. Because think about it, Carrie Underwood won American Idol in 2004. So in a few years, some of her earlier pieces are going to be considered oldies. Wow. 70s records are super heavy, right? Grease, Pretty Woman, love them. Yes. Dolly Parton, yep. All of them. Garth Brooks, yes. It's just weird how that all happened. Like 1 minute we're here and then the next minute we're over here. Anyway. So good. Face it, Juan, we're well aged like great cheese and fine wine. Well, I don't know about great cheese, but I concur. Kenny Rogers, George Strait, yep, all of those folks. How old do you feel, Juan? Well, I'll be... Hold on. Hey, Siri. How old am I?
You'll need to unlock your iPhone first.
I'm 46. I'll be 47 this summer. And I feel about on par with my age. Yeah. I feel on par. I don't feel like I'm 20. I don't feel like I'm 60. I feel like I'm right there. Unfortunately, I don't want to feel my age. I feel like as we get older, we want to feel younger. We don't want to feel our age. And I feel my age. So it's not a win-win for me. It's not a win-win. You'll be 47 February 3rd. Feel like I'm 67. Yeah. And you know what's funny is there are folks older than us who live their life as if they feel like they're 40. I love that for them. We need their secrets. You know? Hi, Christine. I'm so glad you called us. My brain feels one way, but my knees tell a whole other story, right? And you know what just started for me, guys? And listen, it just started for me. So I used to be able to wake up and just get right to it. You know, I didn't have to have that morning pause. If you know what I mean, you know what I mean. Like, you have to process life's choices before you actually stand up out of the bed. Like, that was never a thing for me. I used to be able to just wake right up, flip the blanket open, and fly to the kitchen to make the coffee. No. Now, and this is recent, I want to say within the last, I don't know, a few months, I wake up, I have to fling the blankets, and then I have to sit there. And I'm processing, like, what day of the week is it? Do I want to stand up right now? Do I want to take the covers and cover back up? Like, I have to ask myself all of these questions before I actually stand up. Can anyone relate to that? Or is that just a me thing? I feel like there's others that feel that too. Like, I don't want to get up right now, but do I have to? And if I have to, how can I get to point B from right here with as less moves as possible? Okay, so more people. Yep, I can still jump up, but sometimes up. Yep, I hear you. You know, and the winning factor for me is the coffee. Like, there has to be a perk. I need a perk to get up out of the bed. Work, okay, fine, whatever. But the one that really moves the needle for me is the coffee pot. So I set the timer and all the things. And when the alarm goes off, the coffee is ready. And so that really gets me moving. And then when you go to stand up, you start to hear things. Like I started hearing things about 6 months ago, 6 to 8 months ago. Things are popping, things are cracking. The more steps you make, snap, crackle, pop. And then by the time you get to the kitchen, things are starting to simmer down a little bit. The noises, I mean, the knees, the hips, the ankles, the hands. It's just, so I'm going through it, but I feel like I'm not the only one that is going through it. I feel like a few of you out there may be going through this as well. Snap, crackle, pop. You know what really helps me, guys? And, maybe this is a full circle moment for me, but being a lifetime crocheter has really helped keep my hands limber. So not only am I crocheting, guys, and I don't know how many of you guys do this, and I'm not one to give medical advice, but I will tell you from personal experience that I take crochet breaks. And when I do my crochet breaks, I actually massage my hands to keep the blood flowing. And then I listen to my hands. If my hands feel fatigued, I stop. And then when they don't feel fatigued anymore, I pick my work back up. That really helps me with my crochet. And out of all of the aches and things from head to toe, my hands, my wrists are the thing that I take care of the most. I don't know. I spend a lot of time doing this. Like I'll put on a movie and I'll just spend like 20 minutes doing this. Even if it doesn't need it. I mean, you never know when your hands need that extra rest and relaxation. So, yeah. It's mind over matter. If you don't mind, it won't matter. Oh, I love that. I'm going to be using that. Yes. I feel that way before I fling the blankets. That might be me in a few years. I may still be laying there in the bed, not wanting to turn the alarm off, asking all the questions, trying to decide on life's choices. Oh, I'm like, oh, please, hands, don't do this to me right now. Let's see. I made a hat yesterday, 2.5 hours on, off. My wrist hurt today. I'm so sorry about that. But I will tell you that there have been times where I've been sore from my shoulders to my fingertips. And I learned from experience, like to listen. So when your hands and your arms and things are starting to tell you, like, hey, I need a break, take the break. Because if you don't, you're going to wake up tomorrow and you're going to be like, why didn't I take that break? I knew that my arms were getting tired, but I decided to keep going because I wanted to get my project done. Yeah, just listen to your body. Your body will tell you when it can't do the things. Just saying. But always, if you question any of the things, go seek medical advice. I strongly encourage you to just not take the advice of random people. Even if they have gone through similar things, always seek professional advice. Yeah, because you just never know. Just check the things out, but just a general rule of thumb, listen to your body. Okay. Jess is in constant argument with her body. Me too. I love it. It's so good. I drink coffee to help with the pain in my back. Some say it's all in your head. I just tell them, yep, do whatever makes you happy, right? That's all you can do. Just do whatever makes you the happiest for you, right? Micronurse says I'm still a child. Well, unfortunately, I don't feel that way, but thank you for making me feel nice. I like the thought. Like the thought process of it. Speaking of taking breaks when needed, I need one now. Going to listen to the wrists. Yes, listen to those wrists. let the wrists tell you all the things. So anyway, I'll be on for just a few more minutes. I was trying to get this to an hour and a half because I know a lot of you guys like to just hang out for Saturday night date night. I know a lot of you guys come here for this. So thank you for coming for this. I really appreciate it. Just to give you guys a little bit of a recap, if you're new, every Sunday's usually my cornerstone day. Like, if I ever had to make a choice of getting rid of all of my live streams but one, the one that I would keep is my Sunday. It's my longest streaming one. I've been doing it since 2023. And yeah, so tomorrow is Sunday, and we're doing our Sunday live tomorrow. I'm going to show yarn and all the things, so be here for that. And tomorrow I'll announce like what my week will look like. So I still don't know some of the things. So I'm going to piece together some of those things, and then I'll announce all that tomorrow. But what should be ready by tomorrow, guys, is the hat version of the tutorial that I just put out 2 hours ago. So in the living room, I didn't want to show it today. In the living room right now, I have another one of these going, but I'm actually doing 4 repeats for a hat version of this to just show you what it looks like if you follow that advice and do these 2 repeats 2 more times. And the colorway that I'm using is called Walnut. Something about the browns that I really, really like. So stay tuned for that. I'll show you guys that tomorrow. Okay. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight. As always, Saturday night date night is awesome. We do this every Saturday. So if you're ever interested in coming back, it's always the same time every Saturday evening at 7 p.m. And if it ever changes, I'll put it in the community post to let you guys know ahead of time. All right. So that is all from me, guys. Have a wonderful Saturday, and I will catch you guys tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. Eastern. Bye, guys.